Good evening and welcome to The Frame, an initiative of Access Framingham. I'm Brendan Fitzpatrick. We start tonight with education news as a new 3-year contract for local teachers and educational staff was approved last week by the Framingham School Committee following negotiations with the Framingham Teachers Association. The contracts with the FTA will run through the end of the 2026-27 school year. Chair of the school committee, Jessica Barnhill of District 8, read a statement prior to the approval from the group as she thanked the FTA for their cooperation throughout the process to draw up new terms.
This is the first time in decades when collective bargaining agreements have been negotiated so far in advance of their end date. We feel this is a testament to the trust and collaboration among our staff and our administrators.
One major part of the new contracts ratified by the FTA, cost of living salary adjustments for the next 3 years, as teachers and staff are set to receive 2 to 4% increases per year during the agreement's timeline. School committee member Adam Freudberg of District 4 said that 13 total sessions were held with the FTA since last November to negotiate towards shared goals for all parties.
And my own personal goal that I know was echoed by so many here was to make it clear to the U-Today educators that we appreciate them, wish to support their work, and retain them in the City of Framingham's workforce for the years to come.
Mayor Charlie Sositsky attended the meeting virtually and expressed his approval for the agreements with the Framingham Teachers Association. Meanwhile, the Framingham Planning Board continued their discussions regarding the MBTA Communities Act during their meeting on Tuesday, June 11th. The state legislation, which was enacted back in 2021 in an attempt to deal with housing needs in Massachusetts, dictates that at least one multifamily housing district has to be permitted as of right within municipalities with MBTA service, such as trains or buses. Just the zoning is required through the act, not the actual construction of buildings. Framingham is currently in accordance with the act, but officials have noted that the city could be out of compliance by year's end, leaving Framingham at risk of missing out on state funding for a variety of projects. Still, the planning board has previously expressed optimism that they will not fall out of compliance as they continued to identify where the zoning district could be located. Director of Planning and Community Development for the city, Sarkis Sarkeesian, told the board that while infrastructure upgrades are needed in the downtown area, right by Framingham's commuter rail station, officials at the state level will not accept renovations as an excuse for the lack of a zoning overlay district.
Every city in town would say, we don't have water, we don't have sewer. They don't want to hear that. This is a critical issue for the state. It's a major issue for the state.
Sarkeesian also provided a number of draft options in the Waverly Street area, spanning roughly 70 to 80 acres with enough zoning for up to 5,000 units. He also noted that leaders at Shoppers World have expressed a potential interest in housing down the line. Members of the planning board and residents present for Tuesday's meeting discussed a variety of topics related to the MBTA Act, such as locations, building height, and differences between commercial and residential zoning. The topic of the MBTA Communities Act in Framingham will be one that we here at The Frame will continue to keep you updated on. The Framingham Charter Review Committee is wrapping up the process of recommending changes to the city's home rule charter. The group has been contemplating potential alterations for months now, and they continued to finalize those suggestions during their meeting last Thursday. The committee will soon have to submit their propositions to the City Council for approval. A major point of the discussion during their most recent meeting was, once again, the topic of whether or not local elected officials could hold multiple positions at the same time. Some believed that a city councilor or school committee member also being elected as a library or cemetery trustee would not truly present a conflict of interest. The majority of the committee voted against a motion that would have excluded library and cemetery officials from the list of prohibited positions that an elected official in Framingham could hold simultaneously. Vice Chair of the group, Susan Craighead, added that excluding multiple position officials could motivate more residents in the city to get involved in the civic process.
And I think a library trustee or a cemetery trustee, I think those are both positions that somebody can start with and, and get their feet wet and start into government. I just think we just shouldn't have people holding more than one position.
The committee also clarified their stance that Inauguration Day would be the second business day in January, while also pinpointing the time frame of when a special election would be held in order to fill a vacancy on the City Council or the school committee. The group also approved a recommendation that a long-range strategic blueprint would be developed by municipal leaders in each year ending in a 0, with reviews of that document held every 5 years in order to improve the quality of life in Framingham, while ensuring that the city's financial state is stable. Recommended changes will be finalized during their meeting tonight, June 13th. We'll keep you updated with the charter review process as it wraps up. The Board of Directors for the Amazing Things Arts Center has decided to lay off all staff members, according to a statement from Janelle Codiani, the executive director of the organization based in downtown Framingham. ATAC's announcement cited an inability to totally recover from the coronavirus pandemic's impacts, along with rising costs of operation, as reasoning behind their decision, despite support from staff members and the local community. Layoffs are set to be effective on July 19th. Earlier this month, ATAC's members voted to change the center from a membership organization to a non-membership one. Codiani's statement added that ATAC's board is anticipating to provide more information prior to the conclusion of the organization's fiscal year, which is on August 31st. City officials have announced that Saxonville Beach and Washacum Beach will both be closed until further notice due to elevated counts of E. coli bacteria being detected. Swimming in water contaminated with E. coli can potentially lead to skin irritation, illness, and other issues. Pets such as dogs can also get ill by ingesting or swimming in water impacted by E. coli. The water at both locations will continue to be monitored, and the beaches will be reopened once it's determined that the bacteria has returned to acceptable levels. Summer's in full swing here in the Metro West region, and we'll be here to provide you with the information that matters to your community. You can stay in the loop with the newest source for local information. Our website, www.theframe.news, has more details on all of the stories you'll see on our program this week, along with additional feature stories that we've recently completed. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter as well to ensure that you never miss a beat with Framingham News in Focus. Also, we'd love to hear about any story ideas that you might have. Whether it's a local event or an ongoing topic that's impacting day-to-day life here in the city, we're curious to hear about what you've got. Feel free to reach out to us via phone or email. You can leave a voicemail for The Frame by dialing 508-216-0003, or you can send a message to The Frame at accessfram.tv. Coming up next on the program, an interview with Bill Sell, the manager of the Framingham Farmers Market. Last week, we spoke with some local farmers who will be providing products at the farmers market this summer. This week, we had a conversation with Bill about preparations for the market's opening, as well as what visitors can expect to see starting next Thursday. You won't want to miss it. Stick around. We'll return after this.
Getting close to the first pitch here at Fenway Park, but no sign of Wally the Green Monster.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wally.
And welcome back in. Now we are just 1 week away from the start of the Framingham Farmers Market's 2024 season. Last week we spoke to a few local farmers who will be providing fresh produce all season long, but we also wanted to catch up with the mastermind behind the market's growing success. Bill Sell is the Framingham Farmers Market's manager, and he recently joined us at the Center Common to discuss the latest we can expect heading into the new season, especially regarding the accessibility of both SNAP and HIP, the Healthy Incentive Program for Framingham residents. This is our weekly focus.
Maybe I'll get a couple here.
All right, I'll switch you here.
So this is going to be our third year. The city reinvented what this farmers market is. It was a very small program in the past, and we've really changed up all of the programming around it. So for the first year, we were looking at about 35 vendors. The second year, we were able to bump that up to 85 vendors on a weekly basis. We're going to stick around that same number. That's a really good size. But now we're going to be looking at programming. 2023, the first big thing that we did different was we brought in SNAP. and we were able to do a SNAP match. So Santander Bank gave us a great donation. So that if somebody came in and did a $15 off their SNAP card, we were then able to give them $15 additional dollars. We've also been stepping up the interest and the awareness of the HIP program, statewide Healthy Incentive Program. If you have a SNAP card, you have the Healthy Incentive Program, but most people don't know how it works. It's good at a farmer's market or a farm stand only. Can't use it at the grocery store. But it could be $40 to $80 on someone's card a month. So come out to a farmer's market and suddenly that's a lot of money that they can spend, and it doesn't really take a whole lot of effort to learn how to do it. So we're going to teach them. We have all of our materials from last year that were in 3 languages. We're going to 4 languages, so we'll have it in English, of course, Spanish, Portuguese, and now Haitian Creole. So Framingham has communities that need these services, and that's one of our goals for 2024, is to really focus on the communities that really could benefit from a farmer's market. A lot of it in South Framingham. So we're looking to partner with the MWRTA to get people up here. We have a stop right here at the market location on the Common. And we're hoping that with the expansion and the education on SNAP, we will be getting customers who were not quite sure, how do I use my SNAP at a farmer's market? We will teach you how to do it. We have the different materials, the handouts that we'll be working with. We have a number of the social service agencies that are going to be talking to the clients as to what it is that they can do when they come up to the market.
There's a fork, and you're coming with the bag in 1 minute.
One of the key things about Framingham, it is a unique market in that the mayor is actually sponsoring all of our vendors. So the vendors don't pay a vendor fee when they fill in the application. If they are accepted and approved, the mayor takes care of it through economic development funds. So we've been tracking what sales have been going on every year. Last year we did about 385 or so, 388,000 in sales for the whole season. And the U.S. Department of Agriculture says that we get to multiply that 2.5 times. So it's over $1 million of impact from the farmers market in Framingham in 2023. An excellent return on that investment for helping those small businesses, the vendors, get in here. We're hearing from a lot of the vendors that had been doing things like wholesale or direct to restaurants and things. Coming to a farmer's market, you're actually talking to the customer. So you have the opportunity to see and speak with and answer questions that somebody that you would never see buying your product would ever come by. So at a farmer's market, these folks are actually able to meet and talk to the farmer and say, what about this? What about that?
Additionally, the Power of Produce is an exciting inclusion for the Framingham Farmers Market this year. It's a nationwide club that originated from the Oregon City Farmers Market near Portland out west, and it's designed to provide a fun opportunity for children to engage with fresh produce within farmers markets across the nation. Of course, here in Framingham, fresh produce will be on hand week to week from farms like Heaven's Harvest and Kelly's Farm. But there will also be 13 different bakeries, 9 food trucks, and more. Bill even mentioned that they received a number of requests for seafood. So there will be 2 seafood vendors, including local favorite Captain Martin's. That all kicks off next Thursday, June 20th at 3 p.m. If you're going to be making your way over to the Framingham's Farmers Market for any of the events this summer, we'd love to hear about it on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X for updates on local happenings. Both of our accounts can be found at @FrameNews_. Subscribe to the Access Framingham YouTube channel as well, and be sure to hit the bell icon there to ensure that you never miss an episode of The Frame when they're uploaded. Find us on Facebook as well, just by searching for The Frame. Now, before we step aside for a moment, we want to take a moment to remind you that The Frame is an initiative of Access Framingham, your local community media station located along Vernon Street. AFTV, which has membership opportunities for anyone who lives, works, or studies in the city, aims to connect the community through traditional and new media. Anyone who's interested in learning more about media like TV production, podcasting, and more are encouraged to reach out and learn more. AFTV team members recently attended the ceremony in front of the Memorial Building to commemorate the beginning of June, which is, of course, Pride Month. State Representative Jack Patrick Lewis spoke to attendees at the event. Let's take a look.
So this Pride Month, I want us to celebrate everything we've done in the last 8 to 20 years here in Massachusetts. We continue to lead by example, but the work is far from over. Let us today and every day celebrate our friends and family. Let us rejoice in our movement together. Let us remember that pride is, yes, about having fun and enjoying the thrills of being ourselves in this LGBT liberated space. But that until we have collective liberation, until we have collectively combated successfully misinformation, hate, and bigotry, pride is not sufficient and pride is not yet realized. Let us confront this hate and this urgency that lives are still on the line.
And welcome back. Let's see what else is happening in our community as Interim Director Don Delasanta has officially been appointed as the full-time director of the Framingham Public Library. Delasanta was unanimously recommended to take over the position in a full-time capacity by the city's Board of Library Trustees last month, after she had served on an interim basis since January. She has been working with the Framingham Public Library since 2012, with officials touting her experience in working in nearly every department within the system. In a statement, Delasanta said, quote, "Our library is full of incredible librarians who come to work every day ready to change the world one library card at a time. To be granted the privilege to serve this community and lead the staff and the institution that I love so much is an honor beyond any that I have ever received. I am grateful to the Board of Trustees, to Mayor Sisitsky, and especially to the librarians here at the Framingham Public Library. I can't wait to see what we do together." Mayor Sisitsky and city officials held an event in front of the Memorial Building this Tuesday evening in recognition of National Gun Violence Awareness Month. Participants wore orange, which is recognized as a way to promote awareness of gun violence.
We wear orange to demand a future free from gun violence for our kids, our communities, and for us all.
Movement aims to advocate for changes that can save lives, promote gun safety education and proper gun ownership, as well as honor the victims and survivors of violence related to firearms. Now, a Flag Day ceremony will be held in Framingham this Saturday, June 15th. A flag burning ceremony to properly retire flags will be conducted by the city's fire department and Veterans Council at 7:30 a.m. on the Keefe Tech side of Cushing Memorial Park. People should not bring flags to the ceremony, as a drop-off bin for flags is located at the Memorial Building. Then residents are invited to the park for a procession that will begin at 10 a.m., though people who want to participate in that event around the park are advised to show up a half hour early. From there, a ceremony will be held at 11 a.m. And finally tonight, a local Framingham resident will soon have his work featured on the big stage as part of Boston's third annual New Works Festival, hosted by Moonbox Productions at the Calderwood Pavilion and Boston Center for the Arts. Framingham's own John Minigan will debut his new original play, Covenant, during the weekend-long festival, which runs from June 20th to the 23rd. John's work is just one of 8 original plays selected to be performed this year, out of plenty of submissions, according to Moonbox. The festival is designed to celebrate new and original plays created by local playwrights. The Frame's own Chase Whistler sat down with John to learn more about his play.
Like all of my processes, it started very much like me alone at my desk. I was interested in a certain kind of toxic white male leadership style that I think we, as a nation, have been experiencing and the world has been experiencing. And as I got into that, I started to think about, well, that's really interesting, but what's more interesting to me is the outsider perspective on that kind of leadership. So what it turned into is a play about, sometimes they're called new religious movements, sometimes they're called cults, but it's about an apocalyptic religious community and a federal agent who goes undercover to investigate to find out how dangerous the group is. Do they have weaponry? But then she gets emotionally involved in what's happening and sort of goes rogue on her mission and ends up, things do not go well for her or for the folks in the group as a result of that. I mean, it's very exciting that Moonbox has moved so many artists and resources and time and effort into creating this huge festival of 8 shows. Especially when it's getting more and more difficult for new work to get out there. It's great that there's a company that recognizes, like, we need to foster this work and we need to find ways to bring new plays forward and tell new stories and engage new audiences.
Now, if you'd like to see Covenant, it will be playing from June 21st to the 23rd at the BCA Plaza Theater along Tremont Street in Boston. Tickets are $25 a show and can be purchased at www.bostontheaterscene.com. If you'd prefer to pick up the phone and call, you can reach out to the number on your screen now, 617-933-8600. Pay What You Can tickets will also be available at the box office. To learn more about the Boston New Works Festival in general, you can visit www.moonboxproductions.org. That's all for this week's Framingham News in Focus. For the entire team here at the Frame, thank you for spending your time with us tonight. My name is Brendan Fitzpatrick. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.